Good morning, class. This morning we are back again to school, and I hope you have done all your homeworks. But let me tell you, some of you are not doing the homework, so after this lesson, I'm going to collect all the homeworks and I'll mark them. So make sure you submit it to the class supervisor to put it down for me. Good morning once again. I hope you enjoy your days in the house. So this morning we are continuing with our normal daily lesson, and this morning on the timetable, we have English language. So I'm going to look at the composition part of the English language. And when I say the composition part, I'm talking about letter writing or the writing aspect of English language. And today we are going to look at what we call letter writing. So we are looking at what? Letter writing. Now everybody is entitled to write letter. Everybody can write letter. You can write letter, can write letter. But this morning I want to teach you how to write a good letter or the essential of a good letter. Every letter should be written in a good format. Everybody is writing letter, but which type of letter is the good letter to write? So before I give you the types of letter that we have or the type of letter that you can write. I want to let you know how you can write a good letter to someone, and when the person read the letter, the person will know that indeed you are from this school. So the first aspect I'm going to look at is the essential of a good letter. That is to say the importance or what contribute to a good letter. What contribute to a good letter, or ways and means to write a good letter as a student. So that's the first aspect I'm going to look this morning. And the first one is to use the proper form of letter. So the first one is use the proper form Now you have to use what? The proper form of letter. Why am I saying this? We have three types of letter that you can write to someone, but you have to choose the appropriate one for the appropriate person. If you're writing a letter to your friend, you have to know the type of letter you have to choose. Writing for your uncle, your teacher, your headmaster, you have to know the type that you have to choose. And then if you're writing a letter to a company for application, you have to also know the type of letter to choose. So you have to make sure you use the proper form of letter. If you write a letter to your teacher and then you choose the official one or the one for employment, it's like you have deviated or you are out of track. So you have to always make sure you choose the appropriate or the proper form of letter to be able to get a very good and proper letter. Now you have to make your letter clear. So make your letter clear. Your letter should be clear. Now one thing you have to know here is that it is your letter that is going, but you are not there to explain everything. When the person read the letter, you are not there to tell the person what you mean. But once your letter is clear, the person reading the letter will be able to understand himself without you explaining. So if you are writing a letter and then you use some big grammar and big words inside, and the person is not in the position to go for dictionary, how can the person understand letter writing? So make the letter very clear and understandable, that the person will not need a second person to explain the letter before understanding. Okay, now the third one is what? To also make your letter attractive. Make your letter attractive. Now, as you all know, attractive things are admired a lot. So if you make your letter attractive, I'm not saying go and decorate the letter, but also make it attractive. It should be nice and presentable. Your letter determines the kind of person you are. So if you have cancer and then all sort of things, basa handwriting, those stuffs, it indicates that you the one writing the letter yourself. That's how you are, because what you have is what you give. So you have to make sure you don't cancel too much. In fact, don't cancel at all in letter writing. Make sure you take your time and write it very attractively. Now with this one, when the person is reading, the person will be able to know the kind of person that brings the letter. So make the letter what? Attractive. And the next one is what? Use correct grammar. You have to use correct grammar. Now, if your letter is not grammatized, or is not inappropriate, or is not in connection with grammar, or you don't use the appropriate grammar at the appropriate time, it talks bad about you. You know, the person in the letter will say that, okay, that means you are not educated, that means you are not civilized. No, all kinds of things will come into the person's mind. Why? Because what the person is reading is not in line with the law or the rules of grammar. So you have to be sure that what you are writing is in connection or is in appropriate form with what the rules of grammar. Where you have to use opposite, you use. Where you have to use past, you use. Where you have to use present, use everything appropriately. That means what you are using a correct grammar. And the last one I want to talk about is that be yourself. Be yourself. In letter writing, you have to be yourself. Don't copy others. Don't go for textbooks and then all people's writing and you copy from them and give to the person. Be yourself. Write from your heart. Letter writing is from the heart. Be yourself. Write it, and then the person will get to know that you're writing it. Because if you go for textbook and then maybe the person writing is not writing according to your issue, how will you write that? So all the day you don't have accurate textbook or some textbook there for you to use, how will you write? Be yourself. Write from your spirit. Write the letter from your heart. Pour out your heart onto the book. So this the 5 steps to write a better and a good letter. So the first one is to use the proper form of letter, and then make sure your letter is clear, and then make your letter attractive, use correct grammar, and then be yourself. Be yourself. Okay. So we are going to look at the other aspect of it, the other aspect of letter writing. The other aspect of letter writing. So today I'm going to take you to what we call the semi-formal letter. You know, form one we look at the formal and the informal. And this morning I want us to look at, so because we are informed to, we are looking at the semi-formal letter. Now, form 1, I told you some little part of semi-formal letter. So I want someone to give me who or the group of people that write semi-formal letter to. The group of people that write semi-formal letter to. Yes. Okay, so he says he writes semi-formal letter to our friends. Okay. Our friends. That's the mind. Please don't underestimate anybody. We are all talking our mind. Freedom of speech. Okay, next person. Okay, to our uncles. To our uncles. Yes, you. Okay. To our aunties. To our aunties. Okay. And then who again? Okay. To our teachers. Okay, give me the last one so that we continue because of the rain. Okay. To our head masters or head teachers. To our head teachers. Okay. Now those that were laughing from the beginning, as we mentioned the first one, who can tell me why you were laughing or why you were laughing? Yes, you were laughing. Yes, you are the one laughing. Okay, so he says that semi-formal letters are not written to friends. They are not for friends, but they are for this group of people, not for our friends. So we take this one out. This one is not out. It's for our uncles, our aunties, our teachers, our head teachers, and Dora. So this one is for semi-formal letter. So semi-formal letter is a form of letter that is written to our uncles, to our aunties, or to our elderly people. In short, our elderly people, but not friends. Our elderly people, but not friends. Our parents, but not friends. Our uncles, but not friends. Our teachers and head teachers, but not friends. Are you okay with me? Okay. So, as you all know, so let's have the semi-formal letter at the top here. Semi-formal letter. Okay. Now let's look at the features. The features of semi-formal letter. So the features of semi-formal letter. Now when I say the features, I'm talking about the idea or things that make up the semi-formal letter, as the formal and the informal. So we are looking at things that contribute or the branches of semi-formal letter. So we can use the idea that we have in the formal and the informal. So who can give me the first aspect to look at when coming to letter writing? Okay, someone says address. We take the address. The address. Address. Who again? Okay, date. Date. Yes. Okay, you. Okay, salutation. You salute the person. Salutation. Salutation. Who again? Okay, you. Say your own. So we have the introduction. The introduction. Sorry. Okay. We have the introduction. The introduction. And then what again? Okay, the body. The body of the letter. Let's continue here. So what's the next thing? We come to the conclusion. The conclusion. And then we come to the farewell. The farewell. And then our last aspect, yes, you can give me. Okay, so we have the subscription. Subscription. We have the subscription. And then our last one is the name of the writer. Name of the writer. Okay, let me clear something here. Now, when we come to letter writing, the first thing to look at, now one thing you have to know here is that the address and the date are not together. The address and the date are not together. The address and the date are not together. They are different things all together. So, when you are writing, so today I want us to look at these two things: the address, the date. The address and the date. Okay, let me add this. Okay, I think our time is almost up. But let's look at these two things: address and the date. Address and the date. Let's move fast because of our time. Address and the date. So I'm going to look at how to write the address for the date. Now in what I'm writing here, we have the two types of address. We have the bold one. Okay, we have the open address. Let's take that one. The open address and the close address. Take note. So let's first look at the open address. Let's look at the open address. So the open address, now we can also write this one in a slant form or the straight form. take note, the slant or the straight form. So let me first introduce the straight one, then we go to the slant one in the open address. The open address. So let me use this one. So with the open address, there is no punctuation mark. Take note. With the open address, there is no punctuation mark. And then we are in a straight one too. So we come here, post office docs 118. That one to no punctuation. Then we come to where the person is. So let's see. Okay. Aswa. That's Accra. Now, with the open address, we don't punctuate. No comma, no full stop, nothing. It is open. It is open. That's why we call it the open address. That one is open. And this is the straight one. It is open, and there's no punctuation mark. Now, you can now bring the date. You can now bring what? The date. And today's date, as we all know, is what? Today's date is what? Okay, you did not even remind me to write today's date on the board. So today being 20th of March, sorry, May 2020. You did not remind me. So we have our 20 or 20th May 2020. Now you can decide, not that you can decide, you have to punctuate the date, because the date is not part of the address. The address is an open one, so we come to the date. Now when you're writing the date, you have to be very careful. A date can cause everything to be wrong. So this date is accepted. You can also write this 20. This one is 5, and then 20. Now if you are dealing with numbers, if this one is 2 digit, and 2 digit, when you do this one 20 like this, you are wrong. It should be 2 digit like this. This date is accepted, and then you can also write this date as well. If you have this 20 like this, and then you do like this, and then 05 and like this, your date is wrong. You have to take note of the date. Your date is wrong. So this is what? The straight form of open address. So take your book, copy this one, and then write your own address. It should be straight and it should be open. No punctuation. Write your own address. No punctuation. We are looking at the open address. So your own address, open one, no punctuation, straight, and then add a date to it, and then you punctuate the date, and then we move on from there. So write your own address, and then let's move on from there. Okay.